Good morning, Prairie U. Good morning, church. We are Prairie Unitarian Universalist Church. We are from Parker, Colorado. And we say to you this morning, welcome and join us. We are a liberal religious light on the prairie, and we confirm and guarantee that we will not be silent or complicit. I invite you this morning, you who come with anger and pain and seek solace, you who come to give voice to the voiceless, you who stand in accompaniment with the marginalized, you who seek to connect but not betray your truth, you who seek to connect to the interdependent web of life. Welcome, one and all. From me to you, welcome to Prairie UU.
Good morning, Prairie people, friends, family, and guests. Thank you for joining us this morning. My name is Paul Ermish, and I will be leading us in an opening hymn, number 1052, The Oneness of Everything. This is a hymn that we haven't done yet. It's in the Teal hymnal, and it's such a beautiful hymn. We will be doing it again. This hymn is written by Jim Scott, who also wrote Gather the Spirit and I think a few other hymns in our hymnals. Jim Scott is also active in the UU Church. He's one of the creators of the Green Sanctuary Project. So please join as you're willing and able in singing The Oneness of Everything.
Far beyond the grasp of hands, or light to meet the eye, past the reaches of the mind, there find the key to nature's harmony, in an architecture so entwined. Like the birds whose patterns grace the sky and carry all who join in love expanding, the message of peace will rise in flight, taking the weight of the world upon its wings, in the oneness of everything. Peace is in the dance of trees who stir before the first breath of wind is yet perceived. Trust in the song becoming one with the dance, and all mysteries can be believed. Songs of lives long past that touch our own are written in the earth, ever giving, and now to maintain the harmony gives to us all lives worth living, for the oneness of everything. Still we seek to find the truth that we might understand and reduce to terms defined. Vast and immeasurable time and space, also overwhelmingly passing years just might I know the faith that winters in the heart, to be reborn in spring, to hear and to feel the pulse of life enters my soul as a song to sing of the oneness of everything.
During this month, we focus on healing, and today we focus on the oneness of healing. I invite you to take the next few moments of meditation and reflection to reflect on interdependence and connection. Today we come to our celebration with the recognition of a brokenness in our country. We come recognizing our great division. We come together, though, with good news. We come together recognizing that moral arc of the universe that we hold so dear is bending toward justice. We come with a message that our interconnectedness will outlive our division. We come with a message that we will be united as a nation and as a people, as global citizens. As Unitarian Universalists, we come together with the oneness of everything. As we begin this morning, we do so not by greeting each other in person, but by instead cuddling with our breathing buddies. If you haven't brought your breathing buddy with you, it's time to do that now. Now, let's settle into our space and let's take a moment to do this as a community. We will start with a moment of breathing. I invite you to face a source of inspiration or to close your eyes during these next few moments and rest with your breathing buddy on your chest as we start to settle in. I invite you just to open your chest and to relax your shoulders and just put yourself in a position that is comforting to you physically. Release the tension in your body and lean your neck from left to right. And take your first deep breath in. And exhale. And breathe in. And exhale. Another deep breath in. And exhale. Breathe in. And out. Breathe in and out. I believe that if you speak out loud your wish of goodwill, that it connects us to each other and gives our goodwill power, and therefore I offer up today. Today, we call for unity. We call for actualization of our interconnectedness as a core value of all humanity. Today we reflect on those who aim to divide and separate using fear and oppression. And we call upon the universe and each other to help bring them into covenant with justice, peace, love, and compassion. Today we call for strength for those who do that work. We recognize that this work is difficult. Many will ask for unity and healing without reflection. May we work to unify, but also to recognize that healing only comes once a wound has been identified, diagnosed, and treated. May we recognize that a wound, though mended, may retain a deep sore and pain that is often hard to forget. Today we call upon a spirit of healing and remembrance, reminding us that sometimes spiritual and emotional scars, though they may be forgiven, may never be forgotten. I invite you now to speak peace and love into the world by speaking of those you hold in your hearts that are seeking to be healed but may not be ready yet to forgive, as we send positive energy out into the world. If you are joining us in Google Meet live on Saturday morning, please unmute yourself and speak of the name or intention you hold at this time. If you are joining us in any other format or any other time of the week, enter your intention into the comments so that as a collective, we may send out goodwill with you. I invite you to do that at this time. I bind now not only all that has been named and made known to us, but also that which remains unnamed and unknown to us, and held in the heart of our community as we light our chalice flame.
Our beloved community is not built on a creed, but on a covenant to live together in relationship. Our chalice is a symbol that we are connected with our larger Unitarian Universalist community. And we light this flame as a symbol of our covenant to each other and the world around us. Please recite our sacred promise to one another, our covenant. We covenant to be a welcoming and loving community, offering each other fellowship, sanctuary, and a joyful spirit. We seek justice and peace in all our deeds and relationships, and we respect and honor both the individual and the sacred search for meaning and truth. We revere and celebrate the diversity of our earth and are guided by the spirit that connects all life as we reach out to offer our best to ourselves, our community, and our world. May the goodwill that we've just offered up be held in our hearts and be a sign that we've come to a place to connect in a way that shares the words from our mouth, the music in our hearts, and the very silent selves. Please join me now as we share the next few moments of silence.
Oh, gather up the brokenness and bring it to me now. The fragrance of those promises you never dared to vow. The splinters that you carry, the cross you left behind, come healing of the body, come healing of the mind, and let the heavens hear it, the penitential hymn, come healing of the spirit, come healing of the limb. Behold the gates of mercy in arbitrary space, and none of us deserving of the cruelty or the grace. Oh, solitude of longing, where love has been confined, come healing of the body, come healing of the mind. I'll see the darkness yield branches to lift a little bud. Oh, longing of the arteries to purify the blood, and let the heavens hear it, the penitential hymn. Come, healing of the spirit. Come, healing of the limb. Oh, let the heavens hear it, the penitential hymn. Come, healing of the spirit. Come, healing of the limb.
Hi. Have you ever spent a long time trying to do something and it didn't go the way you wanted? Maybe you were trying to learn a musical instrument or practice a sport. How did it make you feel? Maybe angry or sad, frustrated? What did you do? Who did you talk to? Sometimes when people try to tell you what to do or how to feel, it just makes you even more upset, right? But when someone lets you talk about why you're angry or scared or frustrated, often you end up feeling a lot better. Today's lifespan lesson was about how we need to figure out what other people say they need before we rush in to try to help them. And part of healing and helping other people to heal is really listening to them and letting them express those hard emotions, even when it's uncomfortable for us to hear. In our story today, a lot of people try to help Taylor, but only one of them really does. Pay attention to how that person helps. Let's watch.
Dorchester County Library presents Online Stories, read by Jennifer Smith, Youth Services Librarian for the Somerville Library in Somerville, South Carolina. The Rabbit Listened by Corey Dorfeld. One day, Taylor decided to build something. Something new, something special, something amazing. Taylor was so proud. But then, out of nowhere, things came crashing down. The chicken was the first to notice. Cluck, cluck! What a shame! I'm so sorry this happened. Let's talk about it. Cluck, cluck! But Taylor didn't feel like talking, so the chicken left. Next came the bear. Grrr! Roar! How terrible! I bet you feel so angry! Let's shout about it! Grrr! Roar! Grrr! But Taylor didn't feel like shouting, so the bear left. The elephant knew just what to do. Trump-a-da! I can fix this. We just need to remember exactly the way things were. But Taylor didn't feel like remembering. So the elephant also left. One by one they came. The hyena, hee, let's laugh about it. The ostrich, gulp, let's hide and pretend nothing happened. The kangaroo, tisk, tisk. What a mess. Let's throw it all away. And the snake, shh. Let's go knock down someone else's. But Taylor didn't feel like doing anything with anybody. So eventually they all left. Until Taylor was alone. In the quiet, Taylor didn't even notice the rabbit. But it moved closer and closer until Taylor could feel its warm body. Together, they sat in silence until Taylor said, "Please stay with me." The rabbit listened. The rabbit listened as Taylor talked. The rabbit listened as Taylor shouted. The rabbit listened as Taylor remembered and laughed. The rabbit listened to Taylor's plans to hide, to throw everything away, to ruin things for someone else. Through it all, the rabbit never left. And when the time was right, the rabbit listened to Taylor's plan to build again. "I can't wait," Taylor said. "It's going to be amazing." Thank you for joining us for Online Stories. Remember to click the like button if you enjoyed today's presentation. Thank you, and bye-bye.
And now, please join us as we sing our children out.
Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the love of God surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the love of God surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the love of God surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
This morning, we will be centering on these words from Reverend Nancy Schaefer. How shall we mend you, sweet soul? What shall we use? And how is it in the first place you've come to be torn? Come sit, come tell me. We will find a way to mend you. I would offer you so much, sweet soul. This banana sliced in rounds of palest yellow, atop hot cereal, or these raisins scattered through it if you'd rather. Would offer cellos in the background singing melodies Vivaldi heard and wrote for us to keep. Would hold out to you everything colored blue or lavender or light green. All of this I would offer you, sweet soul. All of it, or any piece of it, might mend you. I would offer you, sweet soul, this chair by the window, this sunlight on the floor and the cat asleep in it. I would offer you my silence, my presence, all this love I have, and my sorrow you've become torn. How shall we mend you, sweet soul? With these, I think, gently we can begin. We will mend you with a rocking chair, some raisins, a cat, a field of lavender beginning now to bloom. We will mend you with songs remembered entirely the first time ever they are heard. We will mend you with pieces of your own sweet self, sweet soul, with what you've taught from the very beginning. Please respond in community these words from Francis David. In this world, there have always been many opinions about faith and salvation. You need not think alike to love alike. There must be knowledge in faith also. Sanctified reason is the lantern of faith. Religious reform can never be all at once, but gradually, step by step. If they offer something better, I will gladly learn. The most important spiritual function is conscious, the source of all spiritual joy and happiness. Conscience will not be quieted by anything less than truth and justice. We must accept God's truth in this lifetime. Salvation must be accomplished here on earth. God is indivisible. Ej az Eshtin. God is one.
Good morning. My name is Andrew Pichetto. My spouse and I are members of the Prairie Unitarian Universalist Church in Parker. Welcome. Welcome to all. Welcome to our first-time guests and visitors. Prairie Unitarian Universalist Church continues to shine a liberal religious light on the prairie of the southeast Denver metro area. We open this space and our hearts to all who thirst for authentic connection to the mystery of life. We hope you feel welcomed within it, and as we engage our online service. We give a special welcome to any joining us for the first time, whether you are from Parker, Colorado, or from Eureka, California. We welcome members of the Castle Rock UU community, and Just Living, Sober Living in Littleton, and Bridge House Ready to Work in Aurora. We welcome you from anywhere you are in the world. Please let us know you are here and who you are by clicking on the welcome link in the chat or by going to www.prairieuu.org/welcome and signing our guest registry so we may keep in touch and keep you updated with the goings on here at Prairie UU. You are welcome here. At this point in the service, I would ask normally each of you to turn and greet your neighbor. Since we are meeting virtually, please let me extend to each of you my warmest welcome while we share this time and these words together.
Healing. As I see it, there are three ways that illnesses or wounds happen in the body. One comes over time, and it builds up gradually, getting worse if not treated. One comes immediately. Maybe you have an accident, an injury, you cut yourself, or fall and break a bone. The third, though, I think comes from a combination of the two. Maybe there is something that has been festering, but maybe hasn't come to the surface. It needs to, at some point, then becomes urgent, or there's an action that precipitates an accelerated need for a response. I'll give you an example. As I have shared with you in the past, my mother was a diabetic. She had some pretty severe health issues for a long time. But prior to that, the disease really wasn't something that we would see very often. It progressed at a slow rate. And for the most part, the average person that met her wouldn't notice that anything was happening. Now, of course, my mother knew it, and we, as our immediate family, knew it. What the average person wouldn't see was how very careful my mother always tried to be and had to be in regards to her sugar levels and making sure that they were in balance. Not too high, not too low. She had to be sure that she didn't have any injury to her hands or her legs because she was starting to take on neuropathy. What we did know as we moved through life was that her diabetes was always sitting right underneath the surface. It was always ready to flare up at any time. It wouldn't take much to upset the balance that kept the diabetes hidden and have it take on a full attack of her body. And this is how I see where we are in this country. For the past 400 plus years, we have had a number of diseases sitting in our body. We have mostly had them revolve around power and money and fear. But there's been other things too. We named them positively. We named them things like manifest destiny, prosperity gospel, survival of the fittest, civilization over savagery, and missionaryism, the spreading of the good news of salvation to the people who were heathens and didn't know any better. What we failed to do until the last 70 or so years is name them for what they truly were. They were diseases. They were diseases that were rooted and are racism, patriarchy, queer phobia, white supremacy, populism, nationalism, xenophobia, and toxic masculinity, and white fragility and guilt. Even when we have named these things over the last 70 or so years, we have not learned how to define them or understand them with the additional diseases and injuries that they bring with them. Now, you know that I am not a doctor, so I will ask you to come along with me in spirit as I describe the following. When there is an illness or wound, whether physical, spiritual, or systematic, we need to do a few things to treat it. I think you'll all basically, in larger concept, agree with me. First, you'll need to investigate it and find the root causes. You need to ask yourself, where does the pain come from? Where does it originate? What's causing your upset stomach or headache? And are there other symptoms or conditions that you're not seeing? Things that are, is it something you ate, or is it something that's more long-term? After this investigation, you need to diagnose the actual cause of any of these things. And then what do? You come up with a treatment plan. Hopefully you actually treat it and don't sit in the pain or the injury or the illness. Then once treatment started, you give it time to heal. And with this, we need to accept that treatment may not be linear, right? It'll have ebbs and flows. There will be times when healing happens quickly, and there will be times when there will be a plateau or a setback. We must remember that even with the best care there could ever be, residual pain could last long after the wound or the illness is healed. I know that every once in a while I have pain right here in this eyebrow, and that's from a bike injury where I had a bunch of stitches put in when I cut my eye in 2007. It's been a long time since then. And yes, I still have pain there today. I believe that there's also this type of process needed when we address our spiritual pain or systematic pain. Sometimes we carry spiritual pain with us for years and years before we can ever identify the root cause, whether they be the abuse of a parent, being bullied at school, being mistreated by some type of social ism, that I described earlier. When we speak of this societal wounding, though, that is perpetuated on people, we must recognize where we are in the healing process. We have to ask, ourselves, have we truly identified the wound and illness? Have we identified the causes, the symptoms, the effects? Are they being diagnosed, or have they been? Do we have treatment plans in place? Have we started treatment? Or is this wound even healing at all. My proposition is that while most of us think we are, as we look out in this country, in the treatment stage, that the truth is we aren't near treatment. We're still in a place where we're investigating symptoms, causes, and effects. As a corporate body and as a society, we have only begun to identify the illnesses that have been festering under the surface for the last 400, millennia. And I believe that the election in 2016 and the last 4 years have been a time that have brought the infection in this country to a head. And the illness broke through the skin and exposed itself for what it is underneath. Now, this is not a new illness and not an accidental injury, but rather I see it as a disease that has come to the surface, something that has been long festering, something that required delicate balance to keep at bay, but really never has been treated. And now in the last 4 years has really come to the surface. We are seeing the effects of this, at least one disease that we are living with and have lived with for the last 400 years bubble up. And as I mentioned before, we are only in the last 70 years even able to start to label these diseases. And truth be told, we can't even agree on what the causes are, much less how to treat them. If we want to begin this healing process, we need to once again dig deeper into our understanding of what the causes are and how we can treat them. This week, I was told by someone that we are not a divided country, but that instead we are a united, angry country, one that is in pain. And on these points of anger and pain, I will agree. What I will not agree to is that we aren't divided. We, in fact, are a divided country, and we have two base groups. One group who is aiming to change the systems by attacking the institution, and another group that is wanting to change the system, but by furthering oppression that already marginalizes so many in this country. A dividing line has been drawn for many. And while I believe that we both look for cures, that our approaches are dramatically different and opposed. And this has caused to further our pain, already fostering and festering to become part of the larger, more visible surface. And it's coming back to us with a vengeance. Over the last 4 years, we have seen an explosion of outward acts of violence in word, spirit, body, and law against a great number of our population. Many of us feel that some of these words and deeds of our fellow community members are beyond forgiveness. Their words and actions have supported the inhumanity of the Trump administration and the atrocities performed by it in the name of patriotism. But I would really like to say that I think that a lot of this just revolves in the root disease, fear. Additionally, many are also feeling the depth of the words of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King when he says, "In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends." And I think this is probably some of the greatest depth of pain we're feeling. Many have felt betrayed and actually have been betrayed by their family and friends. This has furthered pain in and across this country. Just as I told you, though, back in May, when I said I would not tell you, because I have no authority to do so, I would not tell you how to protest. I today also will not tell you how to or if you should forgive. What I will say is that forgiveness is something that will help you find your own peace in this great pain, in this great divide, in this great world of injustice. In the words of Bernard Meltzer, when you forgive, you in no way change the past, but you sure do change the future. And that's what I hope that as you listen to this, you recognize that forgiveness can offer you as a gift. What I will ask you to do, though, is that you reflect on the difference between forgiving and forgetting. Well, I believe that forgiveness is something that can help your pain. I personally do not believe that forgetting benefits anybody. I, as your minister, do not seek to forget the words, the actions, or the silence of my family or friends, but I only hope to forgive them. If we are to enter the oneness of healing, I must enter that oneness by centering myself. The longer I hold on to my pain, the longer I hold on to my anger, the longer it will take me to heal. I must look to heal myself, not only for myself, but also so that I can do the work in healing others. As we go forward, we have much to heal. And as Unitarian Universalists, we must participate in the oneness that begins with each of us. As we go forward, I was asked last week, what would be the way that we could go forward so that we could heal the wounds of this country? So that we could heal the wounds that have been caused by our families and friends. I will be honest with you. I am still very angry. I am still very hurt. I am still in deep pain. What I will ask you to do is to figure out where you can find your own forgiveness. Forgiveness for the things that have happened. And then I'll ask you, is there a space where you can give that healing time to mend? We can put the balm on, we can take the medication, we can sit in reflection and live healthier lives, which I think forgiveness will give us. But at the end of the day, it's going to take time. I'm not here to ask you to forgive. I'm not here to ask you to forget. I'm here to ask you to find what heals you, what re-engages you in the interconnectedness of the web of life that we so greatly espouse in this country as Unitarian Universalists. I invite you to find healing that engages you in the oneness that brings us together. Not because it's going to change the past, not because it's going to make the pain any less, but because it could change the future. It could be a place where your healing can offer and be inspiration to somebody else. At the end of the day, we can only heal ourselves. At the end of the day, when it comes to spiritual growth, we can only do that for ourselves and in our community. I invite you to do that with us here at Prairie. I'm not going to say that we need to do anything. All I'm going to do is invite you into the oneness of healing that we can offer each other as we move forward and deal with the pain, the injury, and the wound of that which has been inflicted upon us. We all have room for growth. May this next step of our own growth be an openness to forgiveness without forgetting, so that way we can grow together as a community, as a nation, and as a global society. May we all strive to be one and interconnected. Blessed be.
Solo le pido a Dios, or I Only Ask of God, a song written by Leon Gieco about his harsh life under the harsh military dictatorship of Argentina in the late 70s, a song about the exile of citizens and also about the prospect of war between Chile and Argentina at the time. The song will be performed by Mateo Frisk of Columbine Unitarian Universalist Church, and rather than print the English translation of lyrics, I'll go ahead and read them to you right now. I only ask of God that I am not indifferent to the pain, that the dry death won't find me, empty and alone without having done enough. I only ask of God that I won't be indifferent to the injustice, that they won't slap my other cheek after a claw has scratched this destiny of mine. I only ask of God that I am not indifferent to the battle. It's a big monster, and it stomps on all the poor innocence of people. I only ask of God that I am not indifferent to deceit. If a traitor can do more than a bunch of people, then don't let those people forget him easily. I only ask of God that I am not indifferent to the future. Hopeless is he who has to go away to live in a different culture. I only ask of God that I am not indifferent to the battle. It's a big monster, and it stomps on all the poor innocence of people. I want to also thank Brian Bilal, a friend of mine, for providing the guitar accompaniment to the song. So now I present Solo le pido a Dios.
Solo le pido a Dios que el dolor no me sea indiferente, que la reseca muerte no me encuentre, pues yo hoy solo sin haber hecho lo suficiente. Solo le pido a Dios que lo injusto no me sea indiferente, que no me abofete en la otra mejilla, después que una garra me arañó esta suerte. Solo le pido a Dios que la guerra no me sea indiferente. Es un monstruo grande y pisa fuerte toda la pobre inocencia de la gente. Solo le pido a Dios que el engaño no me sea indiferente. Si un traidor puede más que unos cuantos, que esos cuantos no lo olviden fácilmente. Solo le pido a Dios que el futuro no me sea indiferente. Desahuciado está el que tiene que marchar a vivir una cultura diferente. Solo le pido a Dios que la guerra no me sea indiferente. Es un monstruo grande y risa fuerte, toda la pobre inocencia de la gente. Es un monstruo grande y pisa fuerte, toda la pobre inocencia de la gente.
Good morning. Prairie UU is not an institution, but is a community of people who come together in love and support of each other. Building our community requires the sharing of our resources, our time, talent, and treasure. We need to be taken care of in a variety of ways, and one of the teams that does this for us is our Board of Trustees. The Board of Trustees is elected by the congregation and manages the business of the congregation. The board sets policies and standards and stewards the congregation's finances. This year, I have the honor of being an at-large member of the board, and I want to thank the members of our Board of Trustees, Vivian Littlefield, our president, Brenda Peterson, our vice president, Clark Huff, treasurer, Kim Murray, secretary, Khalees Widener, at-large board member, and Xander Kelty, our youth member. I want to thank each of these people for their dedication and hard work. We really have an amazing board this year. The board holds monthly meetings, which are open to anyone in the congregation, so I encourage you to consider joining sometime just to see the inner workings of the board. If you have any questions for the board, comments, or kudos, please feel free to email us at board@prairieuu.org. This morning, I'd also like to thank you for your generosity in giving to the Duke Scholarship Youth Activities Fund. This fund was created a few years ago in memory of our beloved member, Alan Duke. Alan is the son of members Brian and Emmy Duke and grew up as part of the Prairie family. The fund was established to assist in supporting and growing our youth programming with the goal of creating a vibrant and engaged youth community at Prairie. If you would like more information about the fund, please contact Kendra, our Lifespan Chair, or Jen, our Lifespan Coordinator. While today we cannot pass the plate in person, we do need your continued support as we build our beloved community. We thank you for your offering to our community. We know that it is generously given. Thank you.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
We welcome you. Join us in deepening your bond to our beloved community. We hope you hear the call to become a member of our community and that you will reach out to connect with us in a deeper and more meaningful way. You ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. How we should tell them about how we got here or what we get out of it.
Right. How we found the church?
Yeah. Well, we don't know how we found it. We talked about that earlier.
Okay. So, at the time, so we've been members for like 20 years.
21.
And at the time, we had just moved out to Parker from central Denver. And I've been a musician all my life. I was playing a lot of classical music. But when I moved out here, I kind of gave that up because I didn't want to commute back into town. I was a member of a community orchestra in Central, actually on Capitol Hill. And what I found over the years is that the church provided me a great outlet and a great place to expand my and deepen my connection with music, which is a big part of my spirituality. So I'm very appreciative of the church give me that opportunity, and also the opportunity to lead in those ways.
I think the thing that sticks out most to me about coming to this community and growing with it over the 21 years is that we've actually raised our kids here. And what I found in this community immediately when we came were other young parents like us in situations. We had the same aged kids, toddlers, and, well, babies really at the time. And I received a lot of good advice, good examples of parenting that we would use then for the last 21 years. So if anybody is in the same situation out there, or you feel one of these items is something that would come to you as a calling to join our community, we would certainly welcome you.
Should we go on?
Yes. This is a place of acceptance and commitment, a sacred spiritual home that opens up to you.
You and yours are welcome here. Becoming a member of Prairie UU is joining a sacred bond. We love our community and welcome you into it.
If you are feeling called to be a member of our community, we invite you to become a covenantal member. If you're in the Denver metro area or a virtual member anywhere in the world, simply contact our membership committee or go to our website to complete the guest registry.
Checking the box to get more information about your membership. About membership. All right. We'll be happy to, well, whatever. You go to the website, there's a checkbox, and then we'll give you more information. That's what it is. We'll be happy to have you come along on our journey and welcome you into our beloved community.
Bye.
Coffee. What could be better than coffee in the morning? Hold on. Maybe something could be better than coffee. I think that maybe having a virtual prairie coffee house and library or bookstore, that could be better than just coffee. Okay, so I'm sitting in my special spot where I do really good, deep listening, which we learned about in October, I think. And I'm doing pretty well, and I can really feel when I'm getting some deep messages coming through. So hold on, let me try to get some messages. Sorry. Okay. Yes. Hey, the idea of a Prairie UU coffee house and library and bookstore. In fact, I'm sensing, I'm hearing some details coming through. I'm hearing that in the very near future, hopefully within a month or so, we will be able to offer some additional resources and ways to connect with Prairie UU. You will be able to purchase Starbucks and Dunkin' gift cards and a lot more. If you are a covenantal member, you will be able to borrow hymnals and other books from the Prairie UU small groups, Justice League, and Children's Library. Wait, there's more. I'm feeling more coming. Okay, I'm getting more, but I need some coffee first. Oh, so good. Okay, I got it. Also, if you're a covenantal member, you will be able to order a super spectacular Prairie UU. We will not be complicit poster. You could even go on a shirt, some t-shirts, signs, and masks for free. If you're not a covenantal member, then there will be additional donation asked. That's fine. Guess what? There's more. Okay, I'm getting more. Hold on. More deep listening. Okay, so how will this all happen? You will just have to go to the Prairie UU website. But don't go yet. Not for now, anyway. There will be instructions on how to buy, how to order, and borrow. Now remember, it's all coming soon. We've been building our inventory, but to make this all happen, we need your help with the final touches. So if you can and have a skill set or magical fingers, we would like some help with building the storefront on the website. So please let Pastor AJ know. Also, our goal to make as much of this as possible as a space to be a place where you can bring Prairie UU home. Most of the Prairie UU items will be freely available to our covenantal members. We want you to have them, but as you know, money doesn't fall from the sky. No, never has. So if you can help with some seed money and a small contribution to help with the startup costs, that would be so appreciated. We look forward to this next step in creating new Prairie UU spaces. We know you can't come to church, so we are happy to send church home to you. Cheers. I'm gonna go get my 5th cup of coffee.
As we prepare to leave this sacred space, in the spirit that they take us forward, reminding us that our service does not end here, but continues to live in our hearts, may we go forward with these words from Mark L. Bellatini. Go in peace. Live simply, gently, at home in yourselves.
Act justly, speak justly.
Remember the depth of your own compassion. Forget not your power in the days of your powerlessness.
Do not desire to be wealthier than your peers, and stint not your hand of charity. Practice forbearance.
Speak the truth, or speak not.
Take care of yourselves as bodies, for you are a good gift.
Crave peace for all people in the world, beginning with yourselves, and go as you go, with the dream of that peace alive in your heart.
Amen. Amin. Shalom. Salam. Namaste. And blessed be.